Hello beautiful souls, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited you're here today because we're diving into something that could completely transform how you approach every single day of your life. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by things completely outside your control? Maybe you've been stressed about what other people think, worried about future outcomes, or frustrated when life doesn't go according to your plans? Well, my friend, you are not alone, and today we're exploring a book that offers ancient wisdom for modern struggles. We're talking about The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, a book that takes 2000-year-old philosophy and makes it incredibly practical for our everyday lives. Now, before you think this is going to be some dry, boring philosophy lecture, let me tell you something. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless or cold. It's actually about finding true freedom, inner peace, and unshakable strength in a chaotic world. Ryan Holiday has done something brilliant here. He's taken the teachings of ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, who was literally the most powerful man in the world, as Roman emperor, Epictetus, who went from slave to teacher, and Seneca, who was one of Rome's wealthiest men, and he's organized their wisdom into 366 daily meditations. One for each day of the year, including leap year. How thoughtful is that? So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's explore how ancient philosophy can help you live a more fulfilling, peaceful, and resilient life. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to have practical tools you can use immediately. Long pause. Now let's start with the foundation. What exactly is Stoicism? At its core, Stoicism is built on one fundamental principle that will change everything for you once you truly grasp it. The Stoics believed there are only two types of things in this world: things you can control and things you cannot control. That's it, and here's the life-changing part. You can only control three things: your thoughts, your actions, and your responses to what happens to you. Everything else, completely outside your control. Think about that for a moment. You cannot control other people's opinions of you. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control traffic, the stock market, or whether you get sick. You cannot control your past or guarantee your future. But you can always control how you think about these things and how you respond to them. This isn't about being passive or accepting bad situations. It's about focusing your energy on what actually matters and where you have real power. The Stoics call this the discipline of desire. Learning to want what happens to you, not trying to make everything happen the way you want it to. Now, Ryan Holiday organizes this wisdom into three main disciplines that form the backbone of Stoic practice. First, there's the discipline of perception. This is about how you see and interpret the world around you. Every single thing that happens to you is neutral until you assign meaning to it. Getting stuck in traffic isn't inherently bad, it just is. Your interpretation that it's terrible and ruining your day is what causes your suffering, not the traffic itself. The ancient Stoics had this incredible practice. Whenever something challenging happened, they would ask themselves, how can this serve me? What can I learn from this? How might this actually be a gift in disguise? Imagine approaching every obstacle in your life with that mindset. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, you start asking, how is this happening for me? The second discipline is the discipline of action. This is about doing the right thing, even when it's difficult, even when no one is watching, even when there's no reward. The Stoics believed we have a duty to serve the common good, to act with virtue, and to contribute positively to the world around us. But here's the key. You focus on the action itself, not the outcome. You do what's right because it's right, not because of what you'll get in return. And the third discipline is the discipline of will. This is about accepting what you cannot change while taking full responsibility for what you can. It's about developing what the Stoics called an inner citadel, a place of peace and strength within yourself that no external circumstance can touch. Let me share with you some of the most powerful daily practices from this book that you can start using immediately. First, there's the morning reflection. Every morning, the Stoics would prepare themselves for the day ahead. Not by checking their phones or scrolling social media, but by reminding themselves of what they can and cannot control. They would think about potential challenges they might face and mentally rehearse responding to them with wisdom and virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his personal journal, which we now know as Meditations, that he would start each day by reminding himself that he would encounter difficult people, unexpected problems, and frustrating situations. But instead of dreading these things, he prepared himself to meet them with patience, kindness, and wisdom. Here's something you can do right now. Tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, take 5 minutes to set your intention for the day. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? How do I want to respond to challenges? What virtues do I want to practice? Second, there's the practice of negative visualization. Now, this isn't about being pessimistic or expecting the worst. It's about appreciating what you have by briefly imagining what it would be like to lose it. The Stoics would spend a few minutes imagining losing their health, their loved ones, their possessions, not to depress themselves, but to cultivate gratitude and prepare mentally for life's inevitable changes. Think about the people you love most in your life. Imagine, just for a moment, that this was your last conversation with them. How would that change how you treat them? How would that change what you say? The Stoics weren't morbid. They were practical. They knew that loss is part of life, and by accepting this truth, they could love more fully and appreciate more deeply. Third, there's the evening review. Every night, Seneca would reflect on his day. What went well? Where did I fall short of my values? What can I learn? What can I do better tomorrow? This isn't about beating yourself up or dwelling on mistakes. It's about continuous growth and self-awareness. You can do this too. Spend 5 minutes each evening asking yourself, was I kind today? Was I patient? Did I focus on what I could control? Did I respond to challenges with wisdom, or did I react emotionally? This simple practice will accelerate your personal growth in ways you can't imagine. Now let's talk about some of the most profound insights from the book that can change how you see everything. The Stoics had this incredible understanding about emotions. They didn't believe emotions were bad or that you should suppress them. Instead, they taught that emotions are judgments. You're not angry because someone cut you off in traffic. You're angry because you've judged that person's actions as wrong and harmful to you. The emotion follows the judgment, not the event. This is revolutionary because it means you have much more control over your emotional life than you think. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you interpret it, and that interpretation determines how you feel. Here's another game-changing concept. The Stoics believe that the obstacle is the way. Every challenge, every setback, every disappointment is actually an opportunity to practice virtue, to grow stronger, to develop resilience. The thing that's in your way isn't blocking your path. It is your path. Think about the most difficult period of your life. I bet if you look back now, you can see how that challenge made you stronger, wiser, or more compassionate. The Stoics understood this principle and used it to transform every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. They also had profound wisdom about success and failure. Success, they taught, is not about achieving specific outcomes. Success is about giving your best effort, acting with integrity, and responding to results with equanimity. Whether you win or lose, whether you get the promotion or not, whether people praise you or criticize you, none of that determines your worth or your success. Only your character and your effort do. Let me give you some practical examples of how you can apply Stoic principles in your daily life. When someone is rude to you, instead of getting defensive or angry, pause and remember that their behavior says nothing about you and everything about them. Maybe they're having a terrible day. Maybe they're dealing with pain you can't see. Respond with kindness, or at least neutrality. This is how you practice the virtue of patience and compassion. When you're stuck in traffic or dealing with a delayed flight, instead of getting frustrated about something completely outside your control, use that time productively. Listen to a podcast, practice gratitude, plan your day, or simply practice being present. The time isn't wasted if you choose to use it well. When facing a difficult decision, ask yourself, what would a wise, virtuous person do in this situation? Not what would benefit you most in the short term, not what would be easiest, but what would be right. The Stoics believe that doing the right thing is always the right thing, regardless of the consequences. When dealing with criticism or rejection, remember that other people's opinions of you are completely outside your control. What matters is whether you're living according to your values and giving your best effort. If the criticism is fair, learn from it. If it's not, let it go. Your worth isn't determined by external validation. One of my favorite teachings from the book is about the dichotomy of control and how it applies to worry and anxiety. The Stoics realize that most of our suffering comes from worrying about things we cannot control. We worry about what people think of us, whether we'll be successful, if our loved ones will be safe, whether the economy will crash. But here's what they discovered. Worry is not preparation. Worry is not planning. Worry is simply suffering in advance for things that may never happen and that you probably can't control anyway. Instead of worrying, focus on what you can actually do. If you're concerned about your health, eat well and exercise. If you're worried about your relationships, be a better partner and friend. If you're anxious about work, give your best effort and continuously improve your skills. The Stoics also taught something beautiful about death that can transform how you live. They didn't see death as something to fear, but as a teacher. Remembering that your time is limited makes everything more precious. It helps you prioritize what really matters. It motivates you to act with urgency on the things you can control while letting go of trivial concerns. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we often act as if we're going to live forever, wasting time on unimportant things and postponing what matters most. But when you truly accept that your time is finite, you stop sweating the small stuff and start focusing on what brings meaning and value to your life. As we wrap this up, my friend, I want you to remember that Stoicism isn't about perfection. Even the ancient Stoics struggled with these principles. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations as reminders to himself, because he knew how easy it was to forget these truths in the heat of daily life. The goal isn't to become emotionally invulnerable or to never feel frustrated, sad, or disappointed. The goal is to develop the wisdom to distinguish between what you can and cannot control, the courage to focus on what matters most, and the resilience to bounce back from setbacks stronger than before. Start small. Choose one Stoic principle and practice it for a week. Maybe it's the morning reflection, maybe it's focusing on what you can control when you feel stressed, maybe it's responding to difficult people with compassion instead of anger. Small, consistent practices lead to profound transformation over time. Remember, you have more control over your life than you think, but only when you focus that control on the right things. Your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Everything else is just weather, and weather always passes. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today, exploring this incredible book. If this video helped you in any way, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more life-changing book summaries and personal development content. And here's my challenge for you. Pick one insight from today's video and apply it in your life this week. Then come back and let me know in the comments how it went. I read every single comment and I love hearing about your journey. Until next time, remember that you are stronger than you know, wiser than you think, and more capable of creating the life you want than you can imagine. Keep growing, keep learning, and keep being the amazing person you are. I'll see you in the next video.